in London. So you see it many times during the Christmas special. The plasterwork in this room is all original, dating back from the 18th century. And when Lady Alice bought the house in the 1950s, a lot of the detail was obscured because the house had been used as a prisoner of war camp during World War II, and there was graffiti all over the walls. But Lady Alice peeled it back and to reveal the original colour scheme, and you'll see that all the plasterwork has remained intact. The colour scheme is original and goes from the floor all the way up to the ceiling. The gilding, though, we believe would have been added in the mid-19th century by a different family who lived at Basildon, but the style of the decoration does date back from the 18th century. I'd like to point out two beautiful console tables on the sides, which we believe are attributed to William Kent. When Lady Alice bought them at an auction, they were fairly disfigured because there had been, a lot of the detail had been obscured by several layers of paint. So when the tables came back to Basildon Park, they were immersed in large baths of lime to cleanse away the years of paint. And when they emerged from the baths of lime, you see this beautiful shell decoration and motifs that decorate the sides of the tables. Absolutely stunning. We're now in the Octagon Room, which is one of my favorite rooms in the house, and a room that you'll see in the Downton Abbey Christmas special quite frequently, because a lot of the action takes place here, some pivotal moments in the plot and some very humorous scenes, some interchanges between Dame Maggie Smith and Shirley MacLaine, so watch for those.
Whoa, well, the gang's all here, I see.
Is that American for hello?
Harold, I don't believe you met Tom, Sybil's husband.
It seems strange we never met when she was here to introduce us. Well, I'm glad to know you now.
How curious these phrases.
The pier glasses themselves are a real difficulty when it comes to filming inside an historic interior because of the reflections of the cameras from the opposite side of the room. So that's why we've arranged these floral arrangements in front of the mirrors to block out any reflections of the cameras. So look for those when you come to Basildon Park as well.
I'm a monarchist, and that's why I would like the letter retrieved and why I do not wish to know its contents.
I feel so guilty. If I hadn't joked about it, he would never have suspected it was in her handbag.
Good God. Then we have to do something.
The console tables are absolutely stunning and they're fantastic examples of 18th century marquetry. We believe they were designed by William Chambers, who was the architect of Somerset House in London and quite a rival to Robert Adam, one of the most famous architects of the period. But look out for the marquetry on the top of the tables, which will just take your breath away. It's absolutely stunning. Also look for the neoclassical design of the support for the table, which are based on the caryatids, the female figures that support the Erechtheion in Athens. Again, a great reference to classical architecture. Another important feature in this room is the painting collections, which was put together by Lord Ayliffe, and one of the artists that features most prominently is Pompeo Bertoni. This is the artist of the 8 religious works that are on the wall behind me, of God and the Apostles. And Lord Ayliffe saw these paintings as an investment because first and foremost he was a businessman and he saw his collection as a way to grow his wealth and his status.
They're going into supper.
Harold, why don't you take Miss Alsop into the dining room?
The felt on the walls was actually chosen by Lady Ayliffe, and you'll notice it features very prominently in the Downton episode. It's quite striking, it's quite sumptuous, and that's because it is a fabric, it's not a paint surface. And in the 18th century, originally, there would have been a silk damask wall covering on the walls here, but that was long lost by the time the Alice bought the house in the mid-20th century. Lady Ayliffe wanted to have that same luxury, but remember, against the backdrop of post-war Britain, when a lot of country houses were being demolished, luxury goods were just not available. So she took the second best option was to put felt on the walls. Felt was readily available, but it still echoed back to the colour schemes of the 18th century, that rich, dramatic red effect, and it serves a fantastic backdrop for Lord Ayliffe and his painting collection. So we're now in the dining room at Basildon Park, which in the Downton Abbey Christmas special serves as the ballroom for the big scene at the end of the episode. It's sort of the climax to the ongoing story about Rose's coming out and the reason for the family to travel to London. When we had the film crew here, we emptied most of our collection out of the room in order to accommodate the ballroom scene and also to accommodate the number of crew and extras that were here. There were about 40 crew crammed into this room and about 100 people in total. So you can imagine how closely people had to stand together in order to achieve the overall effect of a crowded ballroom. It was also one of the hottest days of the year. Last year it was about 35 degrees outside, so you can imagine that there were lots of beautiful ladies standing around in elegant gowns, but their mascara was dripping and their hairdos were wilting. So we had lots of makeup artists coming in and doing quick touch-ups in between takes.